Hello everyone, Alex Gaming here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a really basic tune in Forza Horizon 4. Now if you are interested in this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And with that being said, let me show you how to make the most basic tune you can for Forza Horizon 4. That will probably help you out a lot more than some of the other tunes that you see on the tuning list. Now right away, some things I want to tell you guys is to please don't use any V10s or V12s or rotary engines, because those are slow, or sound horrible, or cringy. So, as a fellow V8 supporter, please use V8s, or the 7.2 liter V8s, any type of V8 works, because you still get a bunch of horsepower, and it sounds nice, or better, and you just get a better performing car. Now the second thing I want to tell you guys is please don't use all-wheel drive. It drives me crazy how many people actually use all-wheel drive, and it doesn't actually help you. Maybe like in the like 60 foot, but not like in the overall run. It's just kind of weird. But the third thing I want to tell you guys is to use twin turbos. Superchargers work as well, but if you want like that whole 60 foot idea to work for you really well, I'd advise you use twin turbos since you get a really good launch from the beginning. Now for some of the aero stuff, now I'm not too big into this, so the only thing I'll really do is just like add this hood, because it does take around 7 pounds off, so yeah, nothing really much for like the aerodynamics part of that. Although the next thing I do want to talk about is tires. Now for some reason I see people using race tires. It says plus 10 grip, but at the same time you're at a drag strip, so please use drag tires. Also, a small tip, you can do wider tires in the front as well, but typically what you want to do is you want to have some really thin tires in the front and the thickest possible tires in the back. That helps with grip, and you don't really need to turn because you're just going in a straight line, so it's not a huge deal. Oh yeah, tire spacers as well. I like to use them, and if you're AR12 Nick, you like to call them engine spacers. Sorry, not sorry. Also, I'd advise getting the lightest rims since that usually helps with weight and makes you maybe tidbit quicker, but that's just something if you want to do it, do it. Now, hopefully you do this already, but here's some of the normal stuff. I'd say upgrade all of these, just because it helps make you shift quicker and all that sort of fun stuff. Although now that we go to the brakes and all that sort of performing stuff, so let me tell you to go and upgrade your brakes. And for springs, I actually want to tell you to do rally suspension and not drift or race suspension. Now for some reason in this game, rally suspension actually works the best, and I will show you guys in a minute why that is so. You also want to do anti-roll bars for your front and the rears. That's also pretty nice. I know a friend of mine, John, aka Boosted F150 on Xbox, he prefers to do like a, I don't know what he does, like a street chassis or like a sport chassis. It's not bad. That's actually what I'm using for this tune right now, and it seems to work pretty well. It's something I'd highly advise doing if you're getting into the use of the things. Although the other thing I wanted to talk about is weight reduction. If you don't do this already, race weight reduction is the best way to get your car as light as possible, and that also just makes your car kind of feel quicker as well. Now for the engine. So basically you want to upgrade everything but the oil and cooling, just because like weight to horsepower ratio, it's not the greatest idea to add the oil and cooling, just because you only get 8 horsepower and it's like, I don't know how much it is, it's like a 20-pound difference or something crazy like that, maybe even more, I'm not really sure. But yeah, definitely don't do oil and cooling because you get more weight than you are horsepower, and that's just not going to be good for your performance. Now, if you guys want to look at your tuning real quick, some other basic things you can do is increase your tire pressure in the front all the way and your rear all the way to the low. That's the best and easiest way to do it for any type of traction you want. Now, gearing, if you guys just want to take a look at this real quick, This is just my tune I like to use a lot, and I try to gap people in, and most of the time I do gap people other than my friend John, because he's better at doing drag tuning than I am. But this is like an ideal tune you guys want to have. So yeah. Some other things I want to show you guys real quick is camber. If you do 5.0 camber, at least for this car, because every single car you're going to use is obviously going to be a little bit different. This is what the camber looks like and all that sort of fun alignment and stuff. Now for the anti-roll bars, stiff. Just stiff. That's pretty much all I want to do for the anti-roll bars. Now if you guys want to take a look at the springs real quick, and the ride height is the way it is because of the rally suspension, but believe it or not, that actually does help with performance. Don't ask me why, but apparently it works. Now the next thing you want to go to is damping. Now this is what a typical damping tune looks like, at least for the Buick Regal. And then you go to the aero, which is unlocked, so don't really have to care about aero too much. Braking you don't really have to care about too much. And then differential, I mean, if you want to tune it, you can, but this is what mine looks like. So, you know, this is a really basic, well, I call it basic. This is a really basic drag tune if you guys want to use. Just something in the idea of this, for the most part. Now, depending if you're a quarter-mile user or a half-mile user, in Forza Horizon 4, the airport that's a half-mile long is a bit different. I believe there's a little less traction, knowing that it's like an abandoned airport. So you're going to have to tune a little bit different if you always go to the airport. But for most people, we go to the quarter mile. So one thing I want to tell you first is to always warm up your tires. Since that actually is a thing in this game, where if you warm up your tires, you do get like a better launch, depending on how your tuning is. And if you manage to stall when you're doing burnouts, that's a good sign that your gearing is off. So pretty much after you do your burnouts, come to the front of the line, and what you want to do is hold your brake and your gas, and then if you're doing clutch, which I highly advise doing, because since that's the best way to do it, hold your clutch in and then slowly do like a quick release of the gas, and then you'll see your RPM come up and it'll stay there. Now, I might not get this first try since I'm kind of new to doing the clutch trick, since my friend just showed me it about a month ago. So what your launch should look like is something like this. So as you can see, that was one of my better runs. I nearly got 170 miles an hour. Now that's pretty much it for the rear-wheel drive tuning. Now I'm going to show you guys what you can do for all-wheel drive, which these are specifically for all-wheel drive vehicles, since you don't want to put every single car you have or truck to be all-wheel drive. Now just to show you a great example of a perfect all-wheel drive car, here's the new GMC Cyclone in Forza Horizon 4. So this has 1,356 horsepower, so it's a V8 boy. It weighs around 2,800 pounds. But this is one of the better cars to use if you're doing all-wheel drive. Alright, so for this all-wheel drive. Okay, so for this all-wheel drive car, or any all-wheel drive car, you don't actually have to do any burnouts, which is time saving. And all you have to do is hold your car at 2,000 RPM. And with the tune I have on here, your car should be doing something like this. So 184 miles an hour, nearly 185, that's a pretty good run. Although, if this was rear-wheel drive, however, you probably would get only like 170 miles an hour. Just because you're spinning so much at the beginning, it's not worth it. So yeah, I highly advise doing all-wheel drive, especially with the GMC Cyclone. Now when you go into settings, one thing I highly advise is that you don't do anything but manual with clutch. Manual with clutch is the best one to use. I also advise you don't use traction control or stability control, since that makes your car quite slower. So one last thing I kind of want to show you and tell you is that your gearing will have to be different depending on how much horsepower and how much weight you have. So pretty much that ratio you have to figure out on your own. So pretty much any car that's like 150, nearly 160 miles an hour, I kind of recommend like a 4 or 5 gear tune. And like anything like 160 mile an hour to like 175, 180 miles an hour, I definitely recommend 3 or 4 gears. And pretty much anything over 190 miles an hour, I'd recommend 3 gears. Now that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys did appreciate it. Now if you would like more of this type of content, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. With that being said, have a good rest of your day everyone, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.